One text from my family shattered everything I thought I knew. Then it got crazier. I'm Lauren Carter, 34, a self-made landscape architect in Boise, Idaho. My life was thriving, designing lush gardens and outdoor havens for high-end clients, until a Monday evening when my phone pinged with a message from my mom that stopped me dead. Stay away. We're through. My stomach twisted, but I didn't break. I typed back, understood, and hit send. Years of pouring my heart and savings into my family, covering Dad's surgeries, bailing out my sister's failed ventures, keeping their bakery chain alive, erased in 5 words. I'd always been the outsider, the one who chased plants over pastries, never quite measuring up. That text was their final rejection. I wasn't going to beg. By dawn, my phone was a war zone, missed calls, voicemails, texts flooding in. Mom, Dad, my sister Claire, even her husband, they were spiraling. I'd been their lifeline for years, and now I'd cut the rope. What unfolded next turned my world upside down. If you've ever felt discarded by family, hit like, share your story in the comments, and subscribe for the rest of this roller coaster. Growing up in Boise, our family seemed like a postcard success story. Dad owned a string of bakeries, turning a single shop into a local empire. Mom, once a real estate agent, quit to manage the home and soften Dad's gruff edges. Claire, 3 years younger, was their pride and joy, destined to inherit the family legacy. Then there was me, Lauren, dreaming of gardens and green spaces, not dough and ledgers. Dad's mantra was clear. The bakeries are our future. But I was sketching park layouts, not recipes. When I announced plans to study landscape architecture, Dad scoffed. That's a pastime, not a career, he said, his voice like gravel. Mom stayed quiet, her gaze fixed on the floor. Claire, barely a teen, grinned like she'd already claimed her crown. At 18, I got into a top design school in Seattle. The acceptance letter was my ticket out, but Dad's response crushed me. No bakeries, no support, he said, unyielding. Mom nodded silently. Claire smirked. I worked 3 jobs, barista, tutor, freelance gardener, to cover tuition and loans. Dad never asked how I survived. Mom's rare, I'm proud, felt empty next to her fawning over Claire's half-baked bakery shifts. Once, Claire left a shop unlocked, costing thousands in theft. Dad shrugged it off. She's young, while I got chewed out for missing a family brunch to finish a project. The favoritism wasn't subtle. It was a chasm. By my late 20s, I'd built a name in Boise, transforming backyards into retreats and corporate plazas into oases. At 28, I landed a contract designing eco-friendly public spaces for a regional hotel chain. My work hit design magazines, but at home, it was all about the bakeries. When will you join us? Dad would ask, dismissing my career. Claire mocked my dirt projects. Mom smiled, but never defended me. Then Dad's heart condition hit. Surgeries piled up, and their insurance fell short. I wired $50,000 for his care. No questions asked. Dad promised to repay me, but I knew better. Mom texted a quick thanks, Lauren, then nothing. Claire, meanwhile, tanked a catering side hustle, racking up $40,000 in debt. Dad called. Fix it. I sent the money. Claire never acknowledged it, boasting at a family picnic about her comeback. I stood there, unseen, as Dad praised her. I kept giving $20,000 for bakery ovens, $15,000 for Mom's therapy, travel costs for Dad's specialists. Each time, I hoped they'd value me. But family dinners revolved around Claire's potential and Dad's expansion plans. My achievements? Barely a footnote. Once I showed Mom a feature on my park designs. She glanced at it and said, "Nice, but Claire's running the new shop." The dismissal stung. At 32, I pitched a bold idea, a green design firm using sustainable materials for resorts and restaurants. I presented it at home, slides ready, projecting profits. Dad sat stone-faced. Mom fussed with dishes. Claire scrolled her phone. Her husband, Mark, gave me a nod. I explained how eco-designs could draw clients and cut costs. Dad cut me off. A fantasy. Bakeries don't need flowers. Claire laughed. Stick to yards, Lauren. I pressed on, showing data, but Mom murmured, "It's risky." Mark spoke up. "It's smart. Green's trending." But Claire glared and he fell silent. Dad shut it down. "Claire's opening a new shop. That's our focus." I left, defeated, their rejection a clear message. I wasn't family, just a resource. Months later, I overheard a bombshell. At a family dinner, Mark pulled me aside in the garage. "Claire's been stealing from the bakeries," he whispered. "Thousands hidden in fake invoices." My jaw dropped. The bakery's constant shortages I'd covered. It was Claire. Before I could process, I heard Dad in the next room talking to Mom about their will. "Claire's our future," he said. "Lauren's off playing with plants. She's not loyal." Mom hesitated, then agreed. My blood boiled. I'd given over $200,000 and they were writing me out. Then came Mom's text, "Stay away. We're through." I canceled every payment. Dad's medical bills, Claire's debts, the bakery's utilities. My phone erupted. Claire's voicemail seethed. "You're abandoning us." Mom texted guilt trips. "I raised you better." Dad demanded I fix this. Mark stayed silent. I didn't budge. They'd chosen Claire, despite her theft, and I was done. A month later, I met them at a Boise diner. I'd sold my green design firm for $1.2 million. Their jaws dropped. "I did this without you," I said. "I gave you everything: money, time, trust. You chose Claire, even after she stole." Claire denied it, but her eyes betrayed her. Dad snapped, "You abandoned us." I stood. "You abandoned me first. We're done." I walked out free. A year on, the bakeries collapsed. Claire faced lawsuits for her theft. Mom and Dad faded into obscurity. Mark left Claire. I expanded my firm globally, finding peace in boundaries. Family isn't pain you endure, it's respect you deserve. Have you set boundaries with family? Comment below. Your story matters.